Joe Biden.
I think it's probably Joe Biden. So this is an article from The Intercept. And again, this is really about America's lack of accountability. And what I find interesting about this, and again, you can see the show notes in the description box below, it talks about how both Biden and Trump are both one and the same. They're both accused of liars. They're both been accused of being rapists and people who have basically abused their power. And again, we got to bring up the fact that Tara Reade right now, she's being attacked on all sides by the establishment media, by the DNC, by those in Hollywood. And when she went for help, Me Too and Time's Up turned a blind eye to her. But, again, we got to state this one more time. In 1993, she alleges that a rape took place and Joe Biden was the person who committed this assault. And, when she was being interviewed by Megyn Kelly, Reed has called on Biden to end his presidential bid and step forward and be held accountable. Now Reed, not Biden, is on trial in the American media landscape. Democrats, the party of Believe Women, are changing their tune, terrified at the prospect of another 4 years of a Trump presidency. Now, I could go further into this article, and I do recommend that you all read it. But, I mean, it's interesting, again, that we're back to this because we have to talk about consistency because throughout the entire 4 years of the Trump administration, Me Too and Time's Up have called for those in power to be held accountable for their abuse and how they've hurt women and other people. And sadly now, those organizations are silent towards Joe Biden and his hypocrisy. This is the problem with the DNC establishment, and this is also the problem when you have organizations that then get co-opted by the top 1%. Because like I've said before in the show, the top 1% and the political establishment and corporate media, they are all friends with each other. They are all friends, and when it comes time to protect each other, they will. Now, with Trump in office, everyone has Trump derangement syndrome, and everyone wants to get rid of Trump. And is there a possibility where Biden can beat Trump? Possibly, 50-50. I mean, with COVID-19 and this economic depression that we're entering into, there is that possibility. But then again, too, when we need to hold people accountable, especially for crimes that they might have committed, due process is needed. And we just can't turn a blind eye to Joe Biden because it's just not Joe Biden also committing sexual assault. I mean, he's got 7 other women saying the same thing, too. Plus, he has a history of lying and being on the wrong side of history. I mean, this is a guy who was against desegregation. This is a guy who was against busing. This is a guy who voted for the war in Iraq. This is a guy who supported the credit card corporations to make bankruptcy what it is now in this country, especially for working class people, which is a horrible nightmare. He's never once apologized for the 1993 Crime Bill Act. So, yeah, Joe Biden has a lot to answer for, but again, Trump derangement syndrome seems to run supreme, and there's a lack of consistency or respect from the Me Too movement or Time's Up, especially when it comes down to Tara Reade telling her story. Daniel.
Yeah, so this is something we have to keep bringing up because it's just a thing that we have to keep bringing up. And I think at this point, I've been far more interested by the response by the layperson that I see on Facebook than even what's happening, because we've already talked about this. We already know that the Democratic Party is not taking this seriously because it's not politically acceptable to take this seriously. Me Too's not taking it seriously because of their ties to the Democratic Party, as are basically all women's groups who have all aligned themselves to the Democratic Party. It's exposing everything that we have been talking about on this show that is wrong with both parties since we started. And here's the thing that annoys me the most, that it hurts me the most, that the way that the regular Democrat, the way that the news media is dealing with this is actually really detrimental to the long-term possibility of Joe Biden winning. Now, obviously, we don't think either of them should win. We're going to be voting third party. You make your own choice. We will never shame someone
No
for
voter
voting
shaming here.
the way that they want, whether it be Trump or Biden or whoever, third party. It doesn't matter. You vote your conscience. We're just going to tell you what we think. But it's okay. Right now, the standard line that I see everywhere on media, on everyone, the layperson, everything disseminated all the way down is, this didn't happen. Don't talk about it. La 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 la. It's not real. He raped more people than my guy did. The problem the reason this is really bad is this keeps it burning. This keeps embers going. We did a story with Rose McGowan, who was talking about she doesn't feel like she can be part of the Democratic Party anymore. And here's the thing. I know a number of people who are now going, I was with you with Hillary. I was with you with Obama. I was with you with Joe Biden. But the fact that you're not taking women seriously, I can no longer be with you. I can no longer be with the party. Now, the great irony is that the position we're taking is actually the thing that is the most beneficial to the Democratic Party, ironically, because we're saying, let's deal with this now. Let's talk about this now. Let's get it out. Let's go through it. Let's give a fair hearing. Let's talk about this like it matters. Let's talk about it like it's a legitimate thing. And if we had our way, which we've been talking about this for a while, but if we talked about this and the Democratic Party talked about this and regular people in the media had talked about this 2 or 3 months ago, it would have already been a story that they would have been able to wash their hands of. They would have, right now, if this story got brought up, if they had done what we were saying, they would have been like, well, it was asked and answered a couple months ago. Why are you bringing it up now? We've already gone through, and it's, somewhat credible, but we're going to move on and accept. But the fact that there's this giant question mark that keeps surrounding, and the fact that Joe Biden is being like, oh, you can't look here for it. Don't look for the documents here. Don't look for the documents here. Democratic Party says nothing to look here. The women's movements all are saying, hey, there's nothing to look for, nothing bad here. And the fact that they're attacking this woman so hard, I thought she was the victim. I guess she's the assailant, according to all the Democrats. So the fact is that right now, the way that they have it set up, Donald Trump is completely ready, able, willing, and capable of actually having the upper hand on the who assaulted women argument as everything opens up, because they have not addressed it. They've let it simmer and simmer and fester.
So I think that's a very important note to end it on, but also real quick, because I typed in the chat too, type 1 if you'd vote for one of the establishment, type 2 if you'd vote third party, and already I'm seeing in the live stream chat right now a whole bunch of 2s. I think a lot of people are walking away from the DNC and the RNC because, again, notice that they have a lot of things in common. They protect those who abuse people. And good luck. The debates are going to be a nightmare and also slightly entertaining because you're going to see 2 crazy old men arguing.